and we don't have Google Maps, and we don't have GPS, and these are things that I can't live without. But he got us there. It was an experience.
Yeah, it was surprisingly tough to say yes to this trip, or to follow through on my yes to the trip. Like I didn't have like a super strong relationship with Tom and Suja before I left. Like I knew who they were. Like I've said hi to them, anytime that they're home and in town. But it was never much deeper than that. Like I had always admired what they were doing from afar. So like I was really struggling before we left.
It was really funny. My dad last year, out of nowhere, kind of just asked me, "Hey, bud, you want to go to Africa with me next year?" And I thought about it for about 1 second, and I just said, yeah. I just felt like, yeah.
I think we undervalue how much it means to be there. And us simply being there becomes a ministry of just being present. And like there you could see how much it meant to these people that you would give up your time, you would give up your money to come see them. Like that's just such an outlandish foreign concept to them, that you would come to them, and then not only would you come to them, you would care enough to pray for them, even if they weren't Christian. Like even if they practice Islam, like they would be receptive to your prayer just simply because you cared. And like they don't even care what words you say. They can't understand you. Like the Spirit moves in such a way, and God is so much bigger than whatever, language barriers that we may have. And all he needs is just us being present, and he can take it from there. And he can work on people's hearts and soften their hearts and tell them and let them know that, like, hey, this person cares about you. He doesn't need you to convert right now. He just wants you to know that you are cared for and that somebody cares about you. That's just being present. That's just a ministry of being present. There's no special words or anything to say. Like my prayer for Pastor Samba, like that family had no idea who I was. It was just some white guy coming in and praying over, their family member. But they knew that I cared about them. And that was enough. It was more than enough. And, I just hope and pray that God used that moment to provide them comfort and provide the others, encouragement. Just being present.
When Jesus sent the disciples out and he would tell them, preach the good news and heal the sick. And when he sent the 72 out, it was preach the good news and heal the sick. I mean, it is just one of the most fundamental things as a Christian is we are supposed to teach and we are supposed to heal. And I know there's a lot of ways to heal, but in that situation, just the physical healing, there is so much need and there is so few resources that I thought that was going to be the thing I was most excited about. And actually it was the thing that was most overwhelming, just to think that, there's this whole ocean of need out there, and I've got this much that I can offer. So that was actually harder than I thought it would be.
I think that the thing that really stood out to me about Alarba and Dr. So was the fact that they were the only two Christians in an entire city of people in like a 50-mile radius, I think. And they somehow managed to have enough faith to continue to spread the word of God. The fact that they started off with no money, little to no resources, and yet they somehow started a clinic that brought people in, and they were able to spread the word of Christ through that. Just the fact that they were able to have a clear vision and like stick to that vision, even though they really had nothing, I find that really inspiring. The fact that if these two guys, who are the only Christians in the entire city, can start a Christian community, then I could do a lot that I think that I could do a lot more than I think.
You realize that God is not limited by the things that limit me. And I knew that, and you read the stories in the Bible and you see all these big and amazing things that God does, and you know it, and I knew it, and I know that God can do anything, but it became much more real to see that, wow, yeah, God really is doing these big things with so little, and creating these big opportunities and these big movements in places that were so resistant to him. And I think being able to see that, what I knew in my head has kind of moved its way down. Now I know it in my spirit, and I know it in my heart.
And I felt like I got so much more out of the time I spent reading and connecting with people instead of being on a screen. And I have definitely carried that over with me after the trip. I don't watch TV as much, and I think when I am on my phone, I recognize it a little bit more. So I think I value the importance of being present when I'm with people. Because when you're on your phone, you're not really present with people. You're in your own little world. So I think I really do value the importance of being present with people.
While we were interacting with the Muslim community, I just had this growing awareness that I had something that they didn't have. And it has stirred up in me a desire to share that. And that has continued with me since I've been home, that I know something wonderful. I know something that will change your life and make it better. And I want to be able to share that in a bigger way. And I'm not sure what that's gonna look like, but I'm looking for it now. And I wasn't looking for it before.